This illustration deals with location in accordance with NEC 690.15a. The purpose of change was to accept and provide a new sentence. A new sentence has been added to address equipment accessible to unqualified persons. It also mirrors the language in 690.13a as in Apple. The installation of PV systems has created an opportunity for placement of disconnect switches in locations that are accessible to other than qualified personnel. The disconnect enclosures can often be easily opened, exposing potential life-threatening voltage and current levels if contacted by personnel. The disconnect equipment is being installed on accessible external and internal surfaces of buildings, in garages, and in almost any room except the bathroom in dwellings. An open disconnect enclosure contains wiring and terminals that can be touched with tools, probes, or even the hands. There is a need to require, as a minimum, a tool to physically open these enclosures. The voltage level of 30 volts is consistent with other Article 690 requirements. Now, reviewing the illustration, see that we have converters with disconnects, and there's 6 of them there. The DC power from PVC modules comes into these gutters. They make up to circuits going into the combiner box, and then we would, if we had an inverter there in the combiner box, or a complete assembly type thing there, then the AC power would come out of there. So, but we know that we have the inverters in the disconnects, so that is AC power. DC comes down into the auxiliary gutter, and it goes into the inverters, and then naturally it's AC, and it comes into the combiner box and then goes out as AC power to equipment as needed and as designed. Now, note 1 says where the voltage in the disconnect operating above 50 volts are readily accessible to unqualified personnel, any enclosure door or hinge cover shall be located only open with a required tool as required in 690.15a. And then the Note 2 talks about barriers and partitions are provided if necessary for separation purposes. Note 3 talks about revised requirements on PV disconnects, and we're instructed to see 690.13 and 690.15. Now notice the grounding procedures here. We have a common grounding electrode conductor underneath those auxiliary gutters there. That's called a common grounding electrode conductor. We can learn more about it in 250.64 C1 and 250.66, excuse me, and 3/8 as large as it has to be. And then it's bonded and connected into the grounding electrode system for AC. Now, this pretty well covers this new section, and why this new section has been added to hopefully protect the user of these systems and not allow an unqualified person to enter into enclosures and so forth where these energized components could be and be a threat to their welfare.